Good morning, welcome back to my channel. And today this video is more casual. This is a more behind the scenes video where we go around the internet. I'm basically getting ready to record a video, and the video that I will be recording and probably releasing either later today or tomorrow is about my system and how it is changing over time. And that's the little man. Hey, dude. This is for my arm.
What?
Oh my god. And you have to like do it on the floor or it doesn't work great. But yeah, this is for doing this too much. This hand. Okay, let's go over here, buddy. Say bye-bye. Gotta love kids. They're so cute. Just keep telling yourself how cute they are. Okay, so share entire screen, share audio, share. And then I have, what is it called? I want to start out with a joke. There's this channel I follow. I don't follow, but it pops up on my feed. And Dr. Dot, latest post. Do I get to see latest posts? So do you guys remember, I saw this morning. Do you guys remember this? This is the Oregon Trail reference. And it says, you have died from excessive Canadian wildfire smoke, inhalation, and diarrhea. Oh my God. Oregon Trail. Oh my gosh. You have died of dysentery. That's what we used to get. You would go and you would mine for gold. And I don't even really remember the whole game. I do remember it looking like this, and I remember it looking like this. What is the first name of the wagon leader? Yeah, I was just seeing if anybody else remembers. Health poor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just remember this right here. Anyways, taking a trip down memory lane first thing. And then another thing I saw this week was, or I guess not this week, but with the World Cup. Let's see if I can find any, unless they got rid of them. Well, there were these weird like videos that looked like replays, and I kept wanting to, I wanted to just check out the game really quick. And then I clicked on it, and it took me a minute to realize that it was just like an AI recreation of the actual game. So it looked like if you were older and you clicked on it, you probably wouldn't even really know the difference. But maybe YouTube's making some changes, because it would be, because a lot of the replays, it would be in this view, and then you'd look or zoom in and you could see that they were characters in a video game almost. And I was like, man, what do older people do? How do they navigate this? Like, I try to imagine myself going through this at 80 years old and trying to figure out, like, how to watch a game. It's like, I have a hard enough time at 40 years old sometimes trying to figure out what's AI and what isn't. And I could only imagine. Yeah, they were just coming through the other day. All right, let's see. What did he come up with? So basically what had happened is I've been working on my AI systems, and I'm trying to build as independently as possible. I've canceled my Claude subscription. I don't have an OpenAI subscription, and I'm using all local models here on mine and my Victus laptop. I don't even really know what graphics card I have in here. Okay, I just asked Hermes to let me know about my computer, because he's my technical guy. I need a technical assistant. I just can't do it. There's some stuff I can do, and then there's other stuff I don't have time. I just don't have time for it. I have 3 more GX10s, so I have 4 total now, and the other 3 I'm going to stack together. That's the max that you can do for combined RAM usage and shared memory. And I have it all set up. I'm actually thinking I'm going to hire the neighbor kid to be with me while I do it because of the kids. I just need to sit and be able to have somebody help me keep track of a checklist. So one thing I did last time when I set up my GX10 is I did not set the I didn't set the time zone. I set it all up. It's been working perfectly. It's great. I have zero complaints about it. I'm super happy about all the decisions that I've made so far about my system. And I didn't set up the time zone. I just didn't. And I don't trust myself to get through a checklist with the kids on a weekend by myself with interruptions. And I don't want it to take 8 hours when it should take an hour. So I'm going to hire a young gentleman to come over to my house who lives down the street, who is more of an IT, very talented. He's very young. He's like 16. And I'm probably going to give him like $100 to sit here and babysit me and help me keep track of everything. I'm probably going to do it. I'm going to set up the computers, but I'm going to have him double check my work. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's how I'm going to solve this problem, because it is a stupid thing that I haven't set it up yet, and I just haven't had time. I have other things that come up. I run my insurance brokerage business, and that's been a priority this week. I got to keep the lights on. I have to keep a roof over everybody's head. I have a obligation to my clients who pay me money for doing my job for their businesses. And so these side projects that I have, I'm getting to the point where and I just need help. But I've hired him before to help me with a couple of things, like with my podcast room and my computer that's in there. Just making sure that it was everything was set up right, because I hit walls sometimes that aren't even real. They're not even real walls. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I'll do it and I'm like, it's broken. And then somebody else that's talented in IT will come over and be like, it works. Just either like turn it on, or I don't know. There's so many little things that can trip me up, that some of these things are hard to, what I'm getting at is some of these things are difficult to do by yourself, and it's okay to ask for help. And I am terrible at asking for help. And I know that about myself. So computer specs, the easy version. So this is what I asked him to email it to me. I have a HP Victus laptop gaming computer. I have a year old. It's older than a year. Okay, it's definitely older than a year. So I have an RTX 4060 with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's my graphics card. And then I have this 1 terabyte total right now of unused storage. And my Linux partition, which is my Asus, that's what the Asus is, the 1 terabyte here. And then I have my Victus laptop. All right, so why it matters, let's see. So RTX 4060, 62 gigabyte of RAM on my laptop. So that's what my laptop is, my specs. And then I have, so why was I talking about that? I was just talking about that to show you what I have, I guess. And what else? I have been working with Hermes, and we work on processes, different processes, how I want certain things built, how I want software built, how to communicate with me. I did a video on the non-tech founder doctrine. That's where we left off. I did a system walkthrough. I'm trying to be as transparent in this possible. I don't know what I don't know. And that is probably the hardest thing. I feel like I was thinking about this last night, and it's because I was watching Ghost in a Shell. And the guy, one of the main characters in the movie, there's this big explosion, and Scarlett Johansson like throws herself in front of this explosion, and then the guy that she's with, he burns his eyes, and he is blind for a moment, but they live in a world where they can regenerate. They can regenerate arms, they make robotic arms. The lines between AI and the human is, the lines are blurred in this universe, and he is blinded. And let me see, Ghost in a Shell. Here, I'll show you. Ghost. It's this one. This is the movie. And then I have Ghost in a Shell, blind, new eyes. And I felt drawn to this character because this is how I feel right now. Not literally, it's just this feeling that I have where it feels like I'm walking around blind sometimes. And in your AI system, observability is extremely important, and having a way to observe the interactions between your agents and what they're doing is very important. And I am rebuilding my Agent HQ, which is my software that the agents run inside of that I can see, right? Like my operating system. And then, but for a moment, you know, he goes from having regular biologic flesh and bone eyes, you know, regular eyes, and now he's got new eyes. And it is so creepy. I mean, that's quite the image. Those are his new eyes. But he has x-ray vision, he has night vision, he's a military trained special ops kind of guy. And so he is very happy with his new eyes. These are the eyes that he chose. I believe that people can choose in this universe. I believe they can choose regular looking eyes, but he didn't give a fuck. He was like, I want x-ray vision. I want all the bells and whistles all the time. Anyway, so not that I'm getting new eyes, but you know, I related to this feeling of feeling blind. And while my system is rebuilding, I feel a little bit blind, and I'm having to go off of some intuitive feelings that I have in the system. And those intuitive feelings are really,
Tonight
a lot
is
of
the
it
night
are
the
my
nightly pod.
abilities
We have had a week of small
to
fires.
test the system. Oh, this is playing. To test the system in different ways, and to ask it to produce things as an artifact that and proof that each of the pipelines are working. And as I walked through the system with my agent and walked through those processes, and I have a walkthrough video if you want to see more on that, I came to the conclusion that Hermes was overwhelmed. And we already have rules and guidelines around how Hermes is supposed to delegate. He's not supposed to do everything. I don't have the exact rule in front of me, but basically one of his main defaults is to delegate. He's supposed to set up processes outside of himself as resources so that he can complete tasks for me. And it was getting to the point where context was just getting, by the time I got him to do anything, the context was filled up for the most part. And it just kept getting compression issues after about 2 interactions with him per session. And I'm like, this is not sustainable. And that started happening yesterday. And so I went back and reminded him that we are supposed to be building separate agents to manage each of these projects. and that we need to look at the most efficient way to do this and where do we put. I told him, I said, I want agents just like you managing these different areas of the business because this is just too much to get any work done. And he agreed, and he sent me a beautiful response about creating an org chart with trees and how each agent runs a tree. And I said, okay, I need a podcast about this because I can't read through all of this, and it's hard for me to read and imagine at the same time. I have had a learning disability my entire life. I have difficulty with reading comprehension. And I often, when I read, it's hard for me to conceive of. Anyway, so I read things wrong and I read them backwards sometimes. And I'm like, okay, I'll read this. That's fine. And it's very interesting to me, but I want a podcast on it. So this is what he came up with.
Here is the honest picture.
Podcast.
The nightly podcast is alive, but the cron story has been sloppy. Episodes shipped at the wrong hour on a couple of mornings. A few crashed mid-write and left 0 byte files. And the date label has been 1 day ahead of the day Lissa actually heard the podcast. Tonight we ship clean.
What is the fix?
Okay, so we have a nightly podcast, and then I have this one-off podcast.
1. The date label now uses Phoenix local time, so the file name and the email subject match the day Lissa hears it on. 2. The cron stays at 7 p.m. Phoenix, which is 2 a.m. UTC. 3. The research pool rotation will not repeat the previous day's pool. That fixes the repeated content feeling.
And the audio files?
There is a new cron job that runs daily at 3 a.m. Phoenix. Any MP3 or WAV older than 7 days gets deleted. Text files stay as the archive. Corpus stays. Only audio.
That is what Lissa asked for.
Yes. Audio expires. Text endures.
Let us walk through what actually moved today on the board.
11 items moved today. The big ones were the R4 probe finding 17 stray dry run SHAs in the dedup state file, for decision taps recorded, and the date label patch landing on the nightly podcast script.
That R4 finding sounds small. Why does it matter?
Dedup state is the file that stops the same podcast from being emailed twice for the same date. When the file has stale SHAs in it, the next run can misclassify a fresh run as a duplicate and silently skip the email. Lissa only finds out 18 choosing local inference in production.
For Lissa's stack?
Her stack runs on a GX10 with consumer NVIDIA, plus Alma for daily jobs and the API for heavy work. The research says keep Alma for prototyping and quick jobs. Move heavy batch jobs to the API or to VLLM on the GX10. Do not run long jobs on Alma when VLLM is available.
What else surfaced?
Creator tooling is moving fast. YT Shorts DL and HN Show Today is a bulk downloader built for Shorts repurposing. That matters because Lissa's content engine treats Shorts as one of the input shapes.
Tonight is the night that the nightly podcast actually runs. We have had a week of small fires. Let us reset the room.
Here is the honest picture. The nightly podcast is alive, but the cron story has been sloppy. Episodes shipped at the wrong hour on a couple of mornings. A few crashed mid-write and left 0 byte files. And matter, use local for the things that need to stay private.
Where should Lissa put attention this week?
3 places. 1. Ship the Federation of Tree Managers proof tree. 2. Wire the Daily Digest cron to actually send clean. 3. Kill the dry run SHA drift in the dedup state so the silent failure class is closed.
That is 3 real jobs.
Yes. And none of them require Lissa to sit at a terminal. They are operator work, not decision work.
What is the lesson tonight?
The lesson is that a system can be running and still be sloppy. The cron fires. The email goes out. The audit says success. And underneath, the date is off by a day, the pool repeats, and 3 episodes crashed. None of those are loud failures. They are all quiet ones.
And quiet failures are the class rule 0 covers.
Yes. We do not wait for Lissa to notice. We notice first. We name the failure. We ship the fix. And we move on.
What is tonight's proof?
Tonight's proof is this podcast. It used the patched date logic. It used fresh research. It used today's digest. And the file you are listening to has a date label that matches the day you heard it.
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Phoenix, the Cron fires again. And the date will be correct. And the pool will rotate. And the audio will expire after 7 days. And the text will stay.
That is the standing order. We will check it in the morning.
Good night.
Okay, so that was about my nightly podcast.
Tonight we listen before we decide. The recommendation on the table is bigger than a refactor. It is a different shape for how you and I work together.
Here is the question. The system has not outgrown AI. It has outgrown one agent carrying every department, every project, every rule, every service, every history in one context.
And you felt it. Memory pressure. Slow answers. Rules that drift because the rulebook is too big for the operator.
So the recommendation is a federation of tree managers. 6 to 7 independent profiles. Each one a bounded tree with its own memory, its own sessions, its own skills, its own verifier.
Let me say the shape once, plainly. Root Hermes stays. I stay. But I get thinner. I keep your preferences, the governing rules, the tree directory, and the routing map. That is it.
Everything else moves out. CRM goes to a nomad manager. Agent HQ goes to its own manager. YouTube and podcasts and websites go to a content manager. Legal goes to its own tree. Finance and books go to their own tree. Trading stays isolated because the failure cost is different.
And every project that used to live inside my context as a paragraph of memory becomes a leaf under one of those managers. 27 projects do not become 27 agents. They become leaves under 6 or 7 durable managers.
Here is the part that matters operationally. If you ask me a CRM question, my first move is not to search my own old memory. My first move is to ask the Nomad manager.
And how does that ask work?
It is a question card. The Kanban dispatcher starts the Nomad profile in its isolated context. The manager reads the real CRM files, the real API state, the real logs. If it needs deeper work, it calls one of its specialists. Its verifier checks the important claim. Then it returns a small answer contract back to me.
What is in that contract?
6 fields. The tree name. The original question. The verdict in plain language. The timestamp it was measured at. Evidence with file paths and receipts. What changed since the last report? Blockers. Cross-tree requests. Escalation level. That is it.
And you trust that?
I do not trust it. The verifier checks it. Watchdog checks that the managers are alive, answering, and using current evidence. If a manager fails to answer, Watchdog names that failure before you discover it through missing work.
There are 7 boundaries in the recommendation. Let me walk them.
First, no profile gets a copy of all my memory. We create clean profiles with small loadouts. Cloning everything would reproduce the current problem 7 times.
Second, 1 manager per bounded tree, not 1 agent per project. 27 project agents would create more noise than the problem we are solving.
Third, cross-tree access goes through work orders. The content manager cannot browse CRM. It asks the Nomad manager for a sanitized answer.
Fourth, managers do not talk to you directly by default. You keep 1 relationship, 1 operator surface, which is me. I consult the organization and give you the joined answer.
Fifth, builders do not verify themselves. Each tree has a separate verifier. The watchdog checks the watchdog's checks.
Sixth, root Hermes must ask instead of remember. If I catch myself reaching into old memory for a CRM answer instead of asking the nomad tree, that is a bug, not a shortcut.
7th. High-risk trees stay isolated. Trading does not share a profile with ordinary finance. Permissions, data, failure consequences are all different.
Before you decide, here is the honest downside list. Nothing here is free.
Downside 1. Building 6 or 7 profiles takes work. Real work. We are talking days, not hours. And every profile has to be kept clean or it drifts back into the same bloat we are escaping.
Downside 2. There is a transition cost. While the profiles are being built, the old single context is still running. You will be paying the overhead of both systems for a window.
Downside 3. Some questions cross trees by nature. A YouTube question that needs CRM data needs 2 trees to coordinate. That coordination is not free. It has to be designed or it becomes a bottleneck.
Downside 4. The watchdog becomes a load-bearing piece. If watchdog drifts or lies, the whole federation loses its honesty guarantee. So watchdog has its own watchdog, and that pattern has to hold.
Downside 5. You lose some surface area. Today you can ask me anything in one chat. After the federation, the path is still one chat, but the latency on cross-tree questions is slightly higher because the answer is a join, not a single read.
And the upside?
Upside 1. My context stops being the bottleneck. Memory pressure stops being your problem.
Upside 2. Each tree becomes answerable on its own evidence. No more Hermes said so. The Nomad Manager cites CRM files. The Content Manager cites YouTube receipts.
Upside 3. Failure becomes localized. If the Nomad Manager breaks, you do not lose Agent HQ. Today, one bad compaction can take out everything.
Upside 4. New projects stop dumping their detail into my context. They become leaves under the right tree. The 27 project paragraph problem disappears.
Upside 5. You get one operator surface that is actually thin. I am faster, my memory is cleaner, my answers are evidence-backed by default instead of evidence-backed when I happen to remember.
The recommendation does not say build all 7 at once. It says prove the shape on one tree first, then stamp it.
The proof tree is Agent HQ. We already have an Agent HQ ML expert with a source pack, an answer format, and a training history. It is currently a specialist wrapper, not a full isolated manager.
So the first slice is, take that specialist and turn it into a real profile. Give it only Agent HQ sources, only Agent HQ skills, only Agent HQ rules. Wire it through the dispatcher. Give it its own verifier. Then ask it 10 real questions.
And if the 10 answers come back in the right contract shape, and if I can answer your Agent HQ questions using those returned contracts without loading Agent HQ's detailed files myself, then we freeze the design as the template.
Then we stamp the template on Nomad, then content, then legal, then finance, then trading. One tree at a time. No parallel builds.
So here is the decision in front of you.
Do you want to commit to the Federation of Tree Managers as the next shape of how you and I work? Or do you want to keep the single Hermes context and accept the memory pressure, the cost?
There is no wrong answer here. Single context is simpler to operate. Federation is more honest about how big the work has actually become.
If you choose Federation, the first move is a 1-week proof on Agent HQ, 10 real questions. Shadow runs. Verifier on. Watchdog on. You and I evaluate at the end of the week.
If you choose single context, the honest next move is a memory diet. Cut what is not load-bearing. Pin what is. Accept that the rulebook has a ceiling and we are at it.
Both paths are real. The recommendation is Federation because the system has outgrown one context. But the recommendation is not the decision. The decision is yours.
That is the recommendation, the trade-offs, the proof tree, and the decision. Take it to bed. Listen to it twice if you want. Tomorrow we will know which direction feels right.
Good night.
Okay, so now you can see why sometimes image generation is so expensive, because again, you're walking around blindly and you're trying to guide this thing to do what you want. So what I want is the sun exuding its light onto trees. I want to be able to see the trees individually and then have the closest layer show more digital detail. And now I'm going to remove everything about a pyramid because that's throwing it off. Let's see. And I'm using the flow state because this is cheaper for figuring out a general layout. Consistent layers. I'll just do, get rid of the realistic. See if we get closer. This is kind of cool. It's this right concept, not really the right style. I mean, that's fine. It's just one tree though. Anyway, we'll see which ones I end up using, or if I might even just move on from this. This one's probably like the closest concept wise. Lost that one that I liked with doing that, but we'll see. Okay, that's kind of cool. I wanted more depth. Like how this one, see how this one's got the depth? That looks like a moon, but who cares? See, and this one's more literal. So you are the sun, you are the light, you are the knowledge. The sun is representative of wisdom, light, knowledge, life bearer. There's lots of symbolism behind the sun. And I like this visual for that reason, because that's you and you're shining your light into your system. And your system doesn't have light without you. And you are putting that into your system, and it gives to each of these nodes that you create, each of these trees. And those trees, you don't just do it. You don't just make all these little nodes all over the place, these little trees, these little pockets of function or information for fun. There needs to be a purpose to it all. And that was one of my rules. I just like this one. Even though it doesn't really bring a concept forward, I would love to build up a medium like this. I wish I had time to like make something like that in real life. I also like this one because it shows the fruit. You know the saying, you will know them by your fruits. You will know them by their fruits. Okay. And what is your... You will know if, you know, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring forward this concept and this. I'm going to talk about more of the literal stuff in my presentation, but this is more of just a general principle, a thread that I see throughout human history and throughout everything that we do, is you will know them by their fruits. And I am navigating my system right now, although it's blind. I do have requirements, output requirements, according to the non-tech doctrine. And those outputs are my diagnostic tool. Is it a perfect diagnostic tool? No, it's not. It's not a perfect diagnostic tool, but it's what I have right now, working in this thing. And I also have my daily digest, and my daily digest is quite good right now. I like it. I like seeing my daily brief and my daily digest and my nightly podcast. And I also like that I can take this and turn it into different automations. And if there are gaps found, he's supposed to remove those gaps and work on them specifically. And I do have a Kanban board. I have all that. It's just kind of spotty right now because the system's getting rebuilt. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of driving blind, feeling my way through it, which is all good. And I wanted to let you know so that you know that it's a thing that could happen to you too. And I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure I know I suck at this. I know I'm not good at this, but I am getting better and I'm getting more out of my system. And this might seem like a stupid small thing, but it was really nice yesterday because, yeah, a little bit.
Why is there a diaper in the driveway?
So this may seem like a small thing to most people, and it is. It is even to me, but I have been in a place where me and my enemies, he's been learning about all about me. And he doesn't know exactly what I mean when I say things in certain ways, and it's starting to turn, which is very exciting. And I just sent him a quick email and I said, hey, I need to have a simple invite, a birthday party invite for my daughter. Her birthday is, her party is going to be on August 1st, 3:30 p.m. at our house, and I just need something, a PNG that I can just text to everybody, and that's it. And this is the theme. I asked my daughter, I said, what do you want your theme? She's like, I want a galaxy pool party. I'm like, fine. So I just told him theme, her name, when it is, the time, our address, and where to RSVP, and that she's turning 9. And this was the output. So for a one prompt output, I was extremely happy with this. Is this blowing my hair back? No, it's not blowing my hair back. Could I have made something better in Canva myself? Yes. But this saved me, 30 minutes or an hour or whatever doing that. And I know Canva is super easy to use, but, now I don't have to pay for, I don't have to do any of that. I just email my Hermes. So little things like this compound on themselves, in my opinion. And it's very exciting to turn that corner and see that come around. Where before, I feel like when I started, yeah, it probably would have worked then too, but it was just way more seamless, way less prompts. It was way easier, I felt like, than it's ever been. And I just wanted to take a moment and step back, and you just got to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they are, okay? Don't discount where you were and what you would have had to do a year ago from today. How have you done this work, and how long would it have taken you a year ago today, and how long is it taking you now? Are you saving time? Are you saving money? If the answer is yes to both those questions, it is a win. It is a win. That's all I have to say. I'm going. I am juiced. So I'm going to get through this. Next is the Federation of Tree Managers, and we'll go over this, and I will see you on the flip side. All right. And then we might pick a song together later. I'm not sure. But nobody liked the video. I like doing it, so I don't care. I might do it anyway. And I'll see you on the flip side.